Continuing with Daniel chapter 9, the last part of it, verses 24 to 27. I'll be very short, but it's packed with meaning that had even the best theologians flummoxed. I consulted four commentaries, including my own, the one that I'm using, this one here, and I'm no wiser. And I thought, guess what? I'm going to get another one by Jerome. Who is Jerome? Jerome was Saint Jerome was the translator of the Bible into Latin, the Latin Vulgate. That's Jerome's work. So I thought, if anybody knows, he wrote a commentary on Daniel. So if anybody knows Daniel, it would be Jerome. Let's see what he says about chapter 9, verses 24 to 27. He doesn't know anything. In fact, he refers to the commentaries, Africanus, Clement, Origen, and everybody else. He includes their interpretation in his commentary. He had none of his own. So who am I to try to figure out what Daniel chapter 9 verses 24 to 27 says? So here, even in the previous post, Daniel was praying. He faced Jerusalem. He put on sackcloth, ashes, and was in prayer. He opened the books of Jeremiah 25, Jeremiah 29, when it says the exile is 70 years. So get used to it. When you go into exile, just do the normal stuff and prosper the place you're in, prosper Babylon, because it's going to be a long time. So here, he reads it's 70 years, and he's been here a long time. So when do you count as year 1? 605 was when he was taken, when he was a young child. 597, when Jehoiakim surrendered the city of Jerusalem to Nebuchadnezzar. That was the first deportation. 587 was the final desolation of Jerusalem. So when do you count as year 1 to the time of the end of exile? And he hoped that it will be 605. That's a year was taken. That means it's coming out, 70 years coming out, 3 or 4 years' time. So he prayed for wisdom, for understanding, and no sooner has he prayed than the angel Gabriel flew in and said, I'm here to give you wisdom. Did he explain it? Well, he explained it. I don't know if Daniel understood it, but I know that over the centuries from Jerome on, we still we kind of sort of get it, but not really. See, for us, we like things to fit in the slot. This 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4. That's how our minds are geared to think. But during this series, that thinking has really been thrown out the window. We know God has a plan. He's working it out. Through the years, it could be many years, but he's working out. We have hindsight to see it being worked out, but they at that moment has not. Understand? Remember see, it's all. I think Daniel must be read as a complete book, even though this is a vision for Nebuchadnezzar, a vision for Belshazzar, the writing of the wall. This is Daniel's vision, the year of Darius, in the year of Cyrus, and so on. It looks kind of disconnected, but it's not disconnected. We must always have Nebuchadnezzar's figure in our minds. This was written to the people living at that time and to subsequent generations. How far to the subsequent generations? We will be told that. And in between, there'll be details. So we have to keep that image in mind. One image, the vision of Nebuchadnezzar when he saw this awful figure, head of gold, arms and chest of silver, and the metals. Each part of the body is a different metal, is inferior metal, until you have legs of iron, and then feet of iron and clay, and then out of nowhere a rock smashed the feet of iron and clay, and the whole thing smashed into smithereens. So what was the meaning of that? That after you, Nebuchadnezzar, you're the head of gold, there'll be subsequent kingdoms, empires, each each inferior to yours, until the final one. This rock, what is this rock? Definitely, it speaks of the Messiah. See, we must at this moment connect it with the Messiah, because this is the starting point wherever we start, 605, 597, 587, whatever, to the time of Messiah. There'll be a whole series of events building up to the to the arrival of the Messiah, that rock. So these things have to happen first. So if they, whichever generations they live in, and subsequent visions of Daniel would build up to the same story, where you have the 4 beasts and then the 2 beasts. So if, depending on what epoch they're living in, they can see this is what's happening until the final. How long would that take? So here Daniel's at 70 years. Gabriel comes and say, let me give you some more 7s. As if there's not enough 7. It's not 70 years, it's 70 weeks. See, in Hebrew, they count in 7s, chunks of 7 days in a week, 7 weeks of years, 7 chunks of years. If we go back to Leviticus, we will remember. See, it's all, the Bible, the Tanakh especially, is one continuous narrative. You cannot sever one part and separate it. So Leviticus 25, when it says that 7 days shall you work, 6 days shall you work, 7th day is the Sabbath. Okay. And 6 years shall you farm the land. On the 7th year, it's a Sabbath year for the land. You must let the land be fallow. So there you go. And then you count off. So 7 years of weeks, so 7 times 7, 49 years. The 50th year is the Jubilee year. What's the significance of the Jubilee year? So when you buy land, the Jubilee year would mean you give the land back, and it would also mean manumission, freeing of the slaves on the 50th year. So here, definitely every theologian agrees that the 70 weeks is not 70 weeks, but rather 70 weeks of years. 70 times 7, 490 years. And everybody's in agreement of that. Verse 24, when it says, so the Gabriel said, no, it's not 70 years. Yeah, 70 years for them to return to the land. Then what? It is 70 years of weeks when God will bring about massive change. What was the mission for that? If we continue to read verse 24, it says, first, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. So definitely 490 years. Will this happen? No, not in this 490 years. It'll be at the end of this 490 years, the Messiah comes and will bring this about. If you look at what's the goal? Will the post-exilic community be able to achieve this? No. The post-exilic community is no different than the pre-exilic community. They have nothing in their power. Besides, the temple is there, the Torah and the old covenant of being obedient to everything in the Torah is there, and which they failed pre-exilic times, and they continue to fail in post-exilic times. There's nothing impose exilic times that would and give them that power and to perform this, to achieve this, until at the end of 490 years. So 490 years, remember what our Jubilee year is? 49 years, the 50th year is the Jubilee year. So 490 years, the 500th year is the Super Jubilee year. Freedom. Freedom from what? Definitely, it speaks of the Messiah. How? It's hard. I know we want to tie everything, put into slots. Yeah, see? But we know it's coming. It's at the end of 490 years must happen till it happens. Till this can come true. When the Messiah comes, he will give the power to do what? To finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make a reconciliation of iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy. That's it. See, he's the last seal of God's servant, of God himself. There's no need for vision and prophecies after him. So here we see the tie in, how it's like I said, we like to put into slots, and this is how our mind thinks. But doing this, we just have to be satisfied that somehow God will use human agency to bring about his will on earth, to establish his kingdom on earth, an everlasting kingdom. And we just have to be satisfied with that. And there is another, see, that much we can understand, but the baffling part is here, 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah. See, it's not just, there are few edicts. The first 3 edicts from Cyrus that returned and built the temple. Darius, Artaxerxes, go back and build the temple. It's only in Nehemiah's time under Artaxerxes where he was told to go back to rebuild the walls, rebuild Jerusalem. So here 25 does mean when Jerusalem is rebuilt. So the starting point for some reason would be Nehemiah's time, Nehemiah's return to Jerusalem to rebuild it. And here to do what? Unto the Messiah. The prince shall, and what is the timeline? 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Understand each week is 7 years. So 7 weeks would mean 49 years. 60 is 60, and then 2 weeks. So it's total of 69 weeks, which gives it 483 years. So again, this is the troublesome part, which many people are trying to count backwards. But then when's the end point? The Messiah, or his resurrection? And 26 says, after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for him. And then it goes it goes on, and that has had everybody baffled, and everybody is trying to calculate that. Oh, there, see, if you count from here to there, 483 years. I know. But whatever it is, after the Messiah was cut off, Jerusalem and her temple would be destroyed again by an overwhelming army. That's the year 70 AD. And our Lord Jesus, and there shall be the desolation of the abomination. What was that? There was one incident in the Maccabean time when Antiochus Epiphanes forbade worship in the temple. And then in our Lord Jesus' time, after his death, came another time where Jesus warned about it, when I think Hadrian or Trajan wanted to put his figure in the temple, but he died before it could happen. So hope you found that stimulating. Okay, where are we?